Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Nitro Addiction. So on today's episode we are going to install a new Savox servo. See if I can get zoomed in here. Yeah, it's pricey, but it's discontinued, so luckily enough I was able to get 25% off. It's not a bad deal. It's the SB2273 SG. I don't know what the SB stands for, but SG would be steel gears. I don't know how well we can see it through the wrapper. Our speed is 0.095 and our torque is 388.8. Will that be inch-pounds? Torque, something like that, but this is a 7.4 high voltage, so this is what we're going to use to replace the Protech that shit out on us the other day. So here we go. We'll get this opened up and then we'll get this out of the car, or the whole tray, pull this out and see what happens. Razor blade's just about done. That's right, I got more. Okay, so there it is without the wrapper on it. See if we can see those numbers any better now. 0.095 and 388.8 kilograms of torque. What is it? I think it's kilograms, inch, pounds, something. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Whatever. It doesn't give a clear. It's hard to see in here, anyways. But also, this is gonna be for the other buggy that I got in that eBay deal, the MB 48.3. So I got another Protech. We just need to get it on charge. But I don't have servos for that car yet, anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just wanted to show you. Alright, so with this one, let's see what all comes in the box. So, oops, sorry. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, keep it down here in the light and I'll zoom in even further. Excuse me. So like I said, SB2273 SG. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Sorry, I had to cough. Alright. So a bunch of plastic horns. More Savox stickers. Bunch of pieces. I'm gonna use the pieces that are already in there. I'll save those for when these wear out, I guess. Alright, so let's see. Get some of this trash out of the way. I had a bunch of different suggestions as to what servos I should put in here, and I thank everybody for all their suggestions. I've never had an issue with the Savox servos. Savox, however you want to say it. They are noisy, but usually really strong. Like I said, I've never had issues with them. I have had one, I don't know, maybe two die. But I've probably had six or eight different Savox servos, and I've had this one in here for quite a while. I think I'm also running one in the Truggy. I don't know. I've had good luck with them. They are noisy, but I mean that doesn't really bother me. I like how strong that they are. And does anybody else have the problem where the hex driver that fits in your drill and the one that I just dropped? Be right back. Okay, so where these two, it's like one's kind of loose and the other one's tight. I mean, they're exactly the same. They both should be the 2.5. The hex driver, the quick change that fits in your drill, seems to fit a little bit tighter. It's like the other one will slip and it feels like it's stripping the screw, and you stick this one in and it's tight and it works. Anybody else have experienced that? Let me know in the comments. Just curious. Let's see. So this one. This one's got the little bitty screw. Oh. Hoping that I was actually turning the screw and not stripping. Sometimes these small Allen screws, okay, good, it was turning. Sometimes these small Allen screws, they strip, but I don't know. Anyways, so I've had this one for a while. This is a Protech, just an aluminum servo arm. So, better go take the battery out so it doesn't fall as I'm taking this tray out. And just like the other one I just showed you, it's a Protech 2600 LiPo. Okay, so both servos are loose. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. There's so many screws, it's hard to tell from the bottom which one goes to which piece, but looks like I found the right sequence. Set these off to the side. Set the car off to the side. Now we have just the radio tray. These are like some of the easiest servos to install that I've ever messed with. I love the way they set this up. Alright, so now we just need to, again, we're going to make this faster. If you're using a drill, definitely want to make sure you got it in reverse so you don't strip out the plastic. there's that. This comes right out. I had high hopes for this because I do like Protech. They have a lot of good stuff when it comes to the RC community. I don't know what happened with this. What is that? Man, it seems like every time I set a servo in here, I always end up pinching the wires somehow. I don't have any bare wires showing here, but it is kind of pinched. I don't think that was the problem because I don't feel any broken wire, and I don't see anywhere it's like actually exposed. I'm trying to get some light on this. Let me zoom in here a little bit, show you guys. So, I think you can see that. I just pinched it, but there is no exposed. I don't know if this is copper or aluminum. Probably aluminum. It's cheaper. But anyways, like I said, I had high hopes for these. I just put this in there within the last couple of months. I would say just about every run that I have done in this car since I've put this servo in, you guys have seen, whether I've been at the track or running it at home. So basically, you guys experienced what I experienced, the amount of time I had into this and how long it actually lasted. Come on, get out of there. One thing I liked about these over the Savox, or Savox, sorry, not sure how we're supposed to pronounce it. These are real quiet. These are some of the quietest servos that I've ever dealt with, and they're real smooth. And that's, once I first started using it, I was like, those are pretty nice. I really had high hopes for it just because of the smoothness of it, the lighter sound. I thought they were gonna be pretty good. Maybe that was just, a bad one. Maybe they're not all. Maybe they don't all crap out that easily. I don't know. It's the first one I've ever messed with. Had some people commenting after I did the video of it quitting on me, saying that they've had a problem with the Protech as well. I think this one was like, what was it, like 50 or 60 bucks? So, it wasn't the cheapest, but of course it wasn't one of the most expensive. So, I don't know, kind of mixed feelings on it. You guys let me know what you think. 60 bucks is quite a bit of money. I don't know. Of course, I've taken it out. I'm not 100% sure which way it went, so we're just gonna kind of do a little comparison here, see what makes sense. Okay, yeah, it goes towards the back. All right. Yeah, and these are these Technos. I really do love my Techno, but they're kind of weird on how these mount. So like this cover has one side here that has the hole, like the plastic and the holes that you screw it into, and the other side doesn't have it. The other side, it's here in the tray. So it's weird. I don't know, good or bad. I'm just saying it's weird. But it is RC. RC has a lot of weird stuff to it, so. But man, these things are tanks. I don't know how many times I crashed it pretty hard at the track. And really all it did, it loosened up some screws in the plastics. Maybe stripped a couple of them, a couple of the plastic holes. But I even ran it into one of the walls there. Pretty tough car. I really do enjoy the Techno. Haven't really heard any bad reviews on it. If anybody's had any bad experiences with them, feel free to let us know in the comments. Just kind of giving you my experience with it, what I think. I hope I'm getting all this on camera. Maybe I'll turn it down just a little bit. Give you guys a better view. So, it's a little tricky getting it all in here. I'm trying not to pinch the wires, but alright. Well, you guys could see what I was doing there, but just moving the wire in and out, feeling that it's free floating inside there. Not too worried about the wires that go to the switch. This switch is just to cover this hole so don't get a bunch of dust and debris in there. Just trying to prevent it from filling up with crap. The only switch that I use on these when I'm running a LiPo especially is where's the cover? These LiPo switches, and this saved my LiPo battery when I was at the track. It's funny, just kind of a little sidebar story here. So those videos that I've posted of me running at the track, I was there for like 3.5 to 4 hours, and the best part about it is the whole time all the electric guys, like, they'll run for a little bit and then they'll go charge a battery or work on their car or something. I don't know for sure what all they were doing because I was busy driving my own. And the whole time I'd just, I'd have to go flip it over, of course, because I'm not a very good driver. Very rarely did it stall out, especially when I was running that Reds. That Reds is, man, it's a really good engine. Still don't understand all the people saying that they have trouble tuning them. I haven't had trouble tuning this one, so I don't know what the issue with that is, but anyways, 3.5 hours I ran, and the only reason that I had to stop prematurely was this thing was out of juice. And when this thing was out of juice, this switch did its job and it shut it off. So I was ready to go, hit the throttle, and it just didn't do anything. So I went to look at it, and this thing had the red light was on, and it was not allowing power to go to it. So it literally saved my LiPo from going completely dead and not working anymore. So I really do like those switches. Anybody that's had good or bad experience with them, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. But as far as what I think, them switches are they're great. Like I said, it saved my LiPo from being completely dead, so I'm happy about that. Because especially electric guys out there, you drain a LiPo all the way down, it's done. Then sometimes you can add a little charge to them and kind of bring them back, but most of the time, I feel like I'm missing a screw somewhere. I guess that's it. Most of the time, you drain them too far, you damage them, and of course you gotta go buy another one. So I really do like that switch. It's been so long since I've gotten these. I do not know the brand of this. I know you can find them on eBay. You just look for LiPo receiver switch, and it'll pop these up. It's got the ones with the 3 holes, which bolt right to these covers for the Techno. They're just built that way. They got some that are more square with, like, I think they got 4 mounts on them or something. Maybe just 2, 1 on each end. I don't know. But you can find them to fit your, or pretty much most buggies. You just have to kind of look around, see what you can find. You can find them on eBay. I'm sure you can find them pretty much anywhere. I don't usually shop on Amazon, so I couldn't tell you if they're on Amazon. These are throttles, so we're going to put it on. Number 2. And make sure we got the wires going the right way so we don't reverse the polarities. Come on, get on it. There we go. Get the controller. Just make sure I got everything plugged in right and it's going to work before I screw it all the way back into the car. So there it gives the, of course you got to hold it down and make sure your LiPo light comes on if you want it to protect your LiPo. Or you can just hold it for like 1 to 2 seconds and just the power light will come on if you're not running a LiPo. Okay. Getting it all crammed in here seems to be the hard part. I hear a lot of different suggestions on what servos that I should go with. You guys should leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite or your go-to servos are. I know there's a lot of different brands out there, and there's some really good ones. Of course, there's some shitty ones. I just, I've always just gone with the Savox. They're pricey, but just always seem to have mostly good luck with them. Every once in a while, run into one that dies on me, but. You guys let me know what you think and what your go-tos are. Feel like I'm missing a screw somewhere. Of course, remember if you're gonna use a drill, make sure you got good trigger control. Otherwise, you're just stripping them out. Sorry if my hands are mostly in the way. I'm trying to get you guys as good a footage as I can here. Getting all the wires tucked into all the right places so that you don't pinch the wires or have the wrong thing sitting up against the battery and damaging the battery. It's kind of tricky, but really it's not too bad. I think I see what the problem is with my screw count. I think the 2 screws I put in there are the ones that were holding the horn to the servo. So I'm just going slow. Like, just for people out there that don't know much about drills, they have a variable speed trigger on them. So you can pull it, make it go as slow as you want. So you can hammer it. So just gotta make sure you got good throttle control. So if you're really good at it, you can hammer it in there pretty quick. You just gotta be sure and let off of it, because once it bottoms out, it will strip out this plastic. This plastic is soft, to say the least. Okay, so now get these out of the way. It's all about knowing how to control the trigger and knowing when to let off. Just like driving your RC, you know, you gotta know when to pull that trigger and when to let off of it. So you get the hang of it, but you just gotta be careful. You don't want to strip out your plastics. So there's that. Go ahead and set these out of the way. Now we can reinsert this guy in the car. I should have switched my screw bit before I did this. Where'd it go? Oh, you guys don't want to see me sitting here in my boxers. Wrong hole. It's weird. It's full of dirt. Trying to figure out how I was able to get the bit in it and get it out. So, anybody that had never messed with these and getting the dirt out, you just get you a smaller Allen. So this is the 1.5, and these take a 2.5, and you can dig it in there and clean the dirt out. A little helpful tip for some of the newer people. Okay, now that we're close, we'll go ahead and use the hand driver so we don't strip out our plastic. Yeah, I love these Technos. They're some of the easiest to work on. You've seen how pretty much how fast it was changing out the servos, or that one servo. Take out the bottom screws, pull the tray out, pull out these screws, just swap them out, easy. You can zoom out here. Sorry guys, adjusting the camera for you a little bit. So you can take off, this section, the front section, and then the radio box, the engine, the other side, the fuel tank. I mean, it's easy, simple. You don't have layers and layers of stuff. Everything kind of has its own network of hardware for getting it out. So on the back end, you just take out these four plus whatever chassis braces you have in. Same goes with the front plus your steering, and then you got your one side of your mud guard or whatever you want to call it, and then you got your other side, and of course your engine here, your transmission. I mean, everything's its own section, just so easy to work on. I mean, they all have a lot of screws, they all have a lot of pieces, they're all complex, but just the way that they design these and set them up. I know in the newer ones, it looks like the tray and the radio or the electronics, it's like it's separate pieces. I don't know, I haven't messed with it enough or really looked into it to see if it's, you know, everything's on this one tray and you can pull the whole thing out. I don't know. I hope Techno kind of kept it all the same. I'm just not for sure. So now what we're gonna do is turn this on, turn this on. I'm gonna make sure that my throttle and steering are zeroed. Looks like it's zeroed. Kind of hard to tell on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go. Dang it. I'm gonna go to the sub trim. Looks like the steering and the throttle are zeroed out. It doesn't show on here. Maybe I'm in the wrong. It's not endpoint. It should be the sub trim. Anyways, just want to make sure they're zeroed out whenever that you put these on. Turn this so I can see the wheels. They're centered. So once they're centered, put them on there. I know my throttle is basically in the neutral position. So just in case you haven't really messed with this, you know, if you're trying to put this on and you've got it pulled out like this and it's supposed to be centered, then when you go to do some adjustments on your trim, it's gonna be hard to set up. It's not gonna work right. So you want to make sure that you've got this, your throttle pushed all the way in a closed position, and then you should be pretty close to a point where you can slide it on. You don't want your brakes on, you don't want your throttle open, you want everything in its neutral state. So it still rolls freely, telling me that I don't have the brakes engaged. I can't close the carb, telling me that, you know, I've got this and it's closed basically. Sorry, I'm trying to find words. No. I don't know about everybody out there, but I use Loctite on everything that's metal to metal. In the past, I have had the servo horns come loose because I didn't use Loctite. So if anybody's thinking you don't need it on your servo, it's, you know, you find out the hard way. What do they call it? The school of hard knocks. So anyways, put you some blue Loctite on there. And it's trying to come out the top like a freaking volcano. Stop. And then put your other one in there. That noise was for me turning against the servo. So when I'm done, I always like to wipe these clean, of course. You know, a big mess. So I need to find a different screw for this one before I strip it out and get it stuck. But that's tight. That one's tight. I'm gonna shut it off. That way I can turn it where I want it. With these, you know, with the spring-loaded tension that's built into this, it probably wouldn't hurt to put Loctite in it. I've already put some in there, so it's kind of got some, you know, kind of gummies up the threads, which is what helps. It can help keep the the threads from vibrating out. But of course, if it's fresh and it's free spinning threads going in there, you may want to put some Loctite on it. Same with these. I've already had Loctite in there, kind of gumming them up. Okay, so I got my pinch bolts tightened up on both of them. I've got them Loctited in. Remote's on. Power's on. Still showing a green light. I need to adjust the endpoints on that. You can tell that it okay, so there's full throttle. Now, one thing with these switches, I don't know if you can see, there's that green light. So when I go full engagement, it stays green. See how that's orange? It's because it's got, it's trying to go way too far. Let's see. I think I'm in the wrong. I'm in sub trim. Okay, so same thing with sub trim. Basically, you want it to where it's centered. It's not putting pressure on it either way. So when you let off, you don't hear any of the whining noise of it. You're hearing that, and you're not doing anything. You know that you've got something binding up. So you want it to sit still like that. So even with the steering, I have the endpoint set on it, so shouldn't be too bad. But I just need to get in the right. Oh, I just needed to go down one more. Okay, so here you can see my forward is at 75. So what I'm gonna do is, on the steering. Dang it. Still getting used to this controller. So here's forward. So I need to turn it down. So you get to a point where it stops whining and you can actually see it like release a little bit. And it's gonna whine a little bit just because, but that orange or red light's not coming on anymore, telling me it's going too far. There in the brake it is, forward it's not. So then on the switch it over to the brake, and we're going to turn it down. So now when I hit the brakes, it stays green. I hit full throttle, it stays green. So from my experience with it, basically you're not overpowering your servo, draining your battery more than what you should be. When you're pulling a bunch of strain on this, like you're trying to go further with your servo, you're trying to turn it more than it will allow. It's draining your battery, and that's another cool thing about these switches. They, it kind of helps you determine how much, when, if it's binding up, because they make noise regardless whenever you're moving these, especially on these Savox. But just it helps you kind of set your endpoints, because you know that if you're going too far, that light will be red. If you're where you're supposed to be, it stays green. It's kind of telling you you're in that range. And you can also just tell by the way that it struggles. If you got these really cranked up on the endpoint adjustments and it's trying to pull way past what it's supposed to, it gets way louder than that. And then when you let off, it doesn't want to calm down. Like, it'll still be whining at you. So I guess it's kind of a plus and a minus when it comes to these Savox servos with the making the noise. But anyways, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shut it all off. I am done with the replacement of that servo. So now this car has both Savox 2273 and 1268, both high voltage. I like the high voltage just because you get plenty of power. I do not run AA batteries in any of my RCs. I do not like AA batteries. It's just not a good investment. Look at it this way: it's not a good insurance for your investment. I'm paying higher insurance to have a good battery that is going to have plenty of power, and then at the same time, I've got a switch that's going to tell me when these are done, and it's going to shut off. Plus, I also run a throttle return spring. I think you guys can see that right down in there. You can see it there. It hooks around the part of the carburetor, but it keeps it closed. So, and also if you're going to run that and it's tight, you need a stronger servo. Otherwise, that constant pull against that tight spring is going to burn out your servo. So just keep that in mind. I know the steering's kind of overkill for, the steering of these buggies. I run the same type of high torque, high speed in my Savages or even my big truggy. To me, I would rather have overkill and have plenty of what I need than for it to have understeer, like when you're running stock in, say, an RTR. All the stock, especially in the steering, they're never strong enough to supply what the car really truly needs. So to me, I'd rather run overkill and kind of tune it down, and then you're not overstraining that servo. It's not going to go out just from normal work. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to pull it too far. Yeah, you're going to strain it and overwork it and kill it. But just those are just kind of tips that I've learned over the years. Even Nitro Todd, he said you want to put your money into your electronics, not necessarily so much your engine or the buggy itself. You want your money in your electronics. So I like expensive servos. I like expensive battery pack. I like expensive controller. Excuse me. To basically say that my investment is going to run properly. Hopefully, cross your fingers, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have a runaway and you're not going to just kill it, especially if you're out trying to run on the track. Like I said earlier, I had this thing running for 3.5 straight hours and I just kept, it very rarely even shut off, especially the last time I was there. If it shut off, it's because I let it get too low on fuel. I'd fuel it up, hit it right back up, and it kept going. 3.5 hours that battery lasted me. All the servos worked just continuous. The engine ran. I know I didn't put 3.5 hours of video up, but I was there for 3.5 straight hours, just continuous running. I know there's more high dollar engines and more high performance. They'll probably do the same or even longer. I get it, but I'm just saying that it was funny. I watched the electric guys continually go into the pit, work on their stuff, charge their batteries, change their batteries, whatever the case is, and the whole time I'd have to go down and put fuel in it and go right back up on the podium or whatever you call it, the stand, and just hammer it, keep going. So If you get a good tune on your shit, you got good batteries, good electronics. You know, you're not going to be fighting it when you are ready to go to the track. And you know, that's kind of how I try to roll, try to do all my work before I go, and I don't like working on it when I'm there. You know, whether it's at the track or I go to a parking lot, an open baseball field, whatever the case is, I want to do all my work here and run it out there. So that's one thing I like about nitro. You just keep filling it up, and it just keeps going. You know, you don't have to keep swapping out batteries in it. But anyways, you know, for carry a backup, I could run this for 6 straight hours. And as long as I got a good tune and I'm not overheating the engine, 6 straight hours I could run this buggy. You know, that's just things to think about. You know, put your own gear in it. Do what you want. That's just kind of my take. Don't take it as, you know, word of all words, but that's just kind of my experience with it. So I like it. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything, the way I got it set up, whatever the case is. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them down below. Hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.